You are ready. I am ready. So, hello, everybody. My name is John Oluwafemiola, and I'm the team lead for ACTUP Africa. And today, just like what we have said, we just like what we have posted on our social media pages, that we'll be working on something. We'll be doing a kind of presentation that is very, very important to those people who can, everybody who calls themselves parents, even not just parents alone, our coverage area. But due to the amount of due to the amount of what do we call it? The capacity, the financial capacity we have as at the point when we actually conducted the research, we restricted ourselves to we actually carried out this project in one part in about 30 local governments in Ibadan, of course, Oyo State, Nigeria. So we carried out this project just to know who are those that are perpetrators of abuses on children, all in the name of trying to instill moral and punishment. So we actually conducted this research in over 20 schools, and we had over 40 key informants like the teachers, the parents, and guidance. So we had some of the, but our focus really is on the parents and guidance. We are focusing on abuses that are outside of school. Those are the abuses that we are actually focusing on. And today, I'm happy to tell you that we actually made a whole lot of success out of this project. And this project, from this project, we came up with some outcomes, some results that we can actually share with you. And that's exactly what we are sharing with you today. And before I continue, I want to apologize to you. We were supposed to start this broadcast by exactly one on dot, but due to glitches, I can tell you um, this is Nigeria, and I pray Nigeria will not happen to anybody. Although Nigeria actually happened to our time of the war to have started, but thanks to people who served as backup for us, and we have been able to come back online now. Thank you very much for still staying there. Whether you are here watching us live or you're going to watch it after the recorded version of this presentation, we appreciate you for coming on this platform. And once again, so that you understand, you are kept abreast of what we are doing here. What we are doing today is what we call presentation of research findings on children as victims of physical abuses. Yeah. So let me start from the first one. We are just going to use infographics to portray some of those things that we have. Of course, we are going to use infographics. And the first one will go online now. So you might not be able to see my face anymore. The first one will go on, will come online now. And the first one, and that first one, here you go. Let me just say, yes, here you go. Yes, the first one goes online, and that is, we call it children children victim of physical abuse. I'll give you some seconds. I'll give you some seconds to actually look at what we have there. That's a picture narrating. It takes a whole lot of time, of course, for a whole lot of us that understand what research is all about. Just a one-page illustration can actually take a whole lot of time to come up with. And that's exactly what you are seeing on your screen. So the first one, what we are able to, as part of our research question, we focus those questions on identifying the names of punishment, you know. If you're a Yoruba person, I will mention some things that will be so very funny to you, you know, those very funny names like Iko, Abada, Ashin, and so many other things. So let me quickly go by what we have in here. Um, I believe a whole lot of our listeners are already smiling because those are the things that we actually experience when we were growing up. Of course, people in my generation, I won't tell you where my generation actually for, but from the generation of those that are 30s to 40s, we actually experience some of these things that these children actually mentioned to us. So yes, I can tell you that these are the names of the abuses that we actually identify. In fact, these things, let me quickly mention this here. We didn't actually come up with all these names on our own. We ensured that the children themselves are the one that actually mentioned those names for us and the points of attack. So let me mention them one after the other. The first one, knock on the edge, as in for us in Yoruba land, for those that are in Yoruba, they call it Iko, and that's one of the most brutal type of punishment. I remember when I was young, I was given that knock on the head. I won't mention the person that gave me that knock, and I was pissing. I pissed on my trousers, on my shorts. I was about going to school, and throughout my day in school, the whole week, I was remembering that Iko until the whole of that week. So the children actually mentioned this, which of course I've experienced, and I know that is one of the major point of type of attack. And if you look at that picture, we mentioned those places where where they normally hit you with those type of punishment. You can see. So the first one is knock on the head, and the second one is forehead attack. The attack on your forehead. Sometimes they will use their finger to push you on your head. It makes you feel like as if you want to fall. The fear goes straight into your spine, and it somehow, sometimes you feel the pains on your neck. You feel that kind of pain on your neck. Sometimes you feel the pains on your neck. Children feel those type of pains on their neck, and this is something that we actually need to discourage. We need to tell parents that children don't often feel comfortable about them. So another one that I need to talk about that children actually mentioned to us is that the hairs, they turn their hairs, as in that could be a mistake there, but they turn their hairs like they turn it as if they want to break the hairs away from the head. So it's often painful. Then another one is cheek and jaw. Ifoti, as in they give them dirty slap, like yes, on their cheek and their jaw. These are part of the punishments that we inflict on children, all in the name of we are trying to punish them, all in the name of the fact that we want to instill moral. And another one is back, on the back. You give them, they call it abada. They give them abada leni. They give them serious beating at the back. So these are part of the punishment that children go through. Another one is that of the stomach. In Yoruba language, they say fakun, as in a slap in the stomach. Imagine what that can do to the internal organ of a child. Then another one is finger strike. The Yoruba, so they give him like a strike at the back of their finger, and you know how painful that can actually be. Then another one is that of buttock. You beat them on their bum bum, give them serious beating on their bum bum. This is one of the most painful, yes, and that is the point of attack most of the time. Then another one is leg, and the other one is ear pulling and twisting, violating, and they will turn it. They pull your hairs and they turn it. So that's the first one. That's the first one we actually identify. We identify the areas, the points in which all these perpetrators of physical abuse on children actually attack. Those are part of the places they normally attack. Now, let me go for the second one. We are going for the second one. And the second one, sorry for that. And the second one is what we call tools of attack. What are those tools that parents actually use? What are those tools that parents actually use to attack their children? You know, what are those tools? We are looking at what are those tools that parents actually use to attack their children. Like, for example, if you go to abattoir, they have equipment they use on their animal. Of course, if you go to motor mechanics, they have their equipment. They have spanner, they have spanner, they have bolt and nuts, they have hammer, they have several other things. And so also are the perpetrators of physical abuse on children. You know, these abusers, they have instruments they use. A lot of us that are listening may be looking at themselves that are minor part of the abusers. So they have their tools that they normally use. So let me immediately you see the list of equipment on your screen. Now, yes, I think the list of those tools is already on your screen. And let me quickly run through some of those tools that abusers they normally use to attack children. We have a comprehensive one, but these are the ones that the children actually mentioned by themselves. They mentioned it by themselves. We didn't actually put them in their mouth. So the list of tools they normally use. Knuckle, as in the fists. They use the fists to hit children. They also said they use hunger. Hunger is one of the instruments they actually use as instruments of abuse. They also said they use hunger like food. No, they don't give them food. They use twisting and pitching, like you pitch them. They said they use, those are part of the things they actually use. Let me quickly show them. Then they said another one is koboko. We decided not to use the English language so that people will understand exactly what we are doing. But when it comes to koboko, koboko is almost equivalent to horse whip. Like that particular whip they use on horses. You know, that's what koboko looks like. And koboko is in various forms. I can relate with these. We have two edged koboko. We have 3. We have up to 10, as much as what you want. The Hausa people sell them. When you go out there, you see them on the road. They sell it. Koboko. And if you want to know koboko, if you don't know it, most of the soldiers in Nigeria, in front of their cars, you will see koboko in front of their cars. Ask them, they understand what we are talking about. Then we also talk of, in fact, this is scary, but it is the truth, because we had evidences to prove that parents, perpetrators actually use cutlasses on their children. Yes, a boy told us categorically, he said the father never caught him before, but he uses cutlass to beat him, like petekpeteada. That's what they call it in Yoruba. They use petekpeteada to beat them. So then another thing is what we call slap. You know, if you have experienced critical slap before, you will know that that is not palatable. So these children actually told us that most of their children actually inflict that pain of like a slap on them anytime they have wronged them, or sometimes even when the parents or the perpetrators are actually angry in the first place. Then we have what we call kick like football. Then we have what we call razor cut. We had experiences, yes. We can tell you that parents use razor. Especially, it's common among Yoruba people. They will tell you that before you spoil my name, I will teach you lessons. And they will cut them. Maybe their children stole from their pot, from their purse. They'll cut the child and put spices on those surface so that they can inflict more pain on them. Sometimes it's because these children are living with some guidance and they will cut them because they have offended them. So we have what we call tying and hanging. This may sound too crude, but that is the truth. Some parents go to the extent of tying their children to the wall and hang them. They will hang them that before you kill me, I will kill you. So these are part of the things that the children actually told us. We are talking of children here. We are talking of from primary 1 to primary 6 around here. We are not talking of the adults. We are talking of primary 1 to primary 6 in public schools. Then we also have stick and cane. This is common. They use stick, they use cane, and the how big is big. There is another question of how big is big when it comes to cane. Then we also have what we call electricity wire. The wire they use for electricity, they use it to build children, and that is not so good. Then we also have what we call hot iron. Like, because a child stole money in the house, or a child, we are not condoning bad morals, but we are saying that corporal punishment, physical abuses, damaging a child should not be the solution, should not be a form of punishment, and should not be a kind of solution we provide to a child that is so headstrong. Then we also have what we call slippers. They use their slippers to beat children. And we also have bites. This one, the reason why we put it for the last one was when we're talking to a child, everybody have been saying their own. That child, one thing he told, he said, if I say my own now, all of you will smile, will laugh at me. I said, go ahead and say it. And he said, my mommy will bite me, like teeth bite that child, like, oh, as in when the boy was telling us, everybody was busted into laughter, and it's not funny. We saw signs of teeth on this child, and these are part of the things that we say we actually discover in the course of that research, that these are part of the tools of attack that guardians and parents actually use to punish their children. These are the tools. If you look at the image, let me put the image again. If you look at the image very well, you will see that we designed those tools. Like in that infographics, the tools are surrounding the child, and the child is lowering her head, because those things are meant to dampen their spirit, to lower their spirit, to make them feel sober. And it does beyond that. It makes them lose their self-esteem. It makes them lose their confidence. It makes them lose their joy. It makes them lose their happiness. It makes them very afraid of going to school sometimes. It makes them lose interest in education. These are part of the things that all these tools, the attacks that parents and guardians actually perpetrated on those children, that does to them. Now let me go to the last one, and after that we can now go ahead. We can go from here. Now the last one we talk about. The last one is what we call, who are the perpetrators. We've talked about the tools they use. We'll talk about the not just the tools that they use. We'll talk about how they attack them, the point at which they attack them, the stomach, the head, they attack almost every part of the body of the child indiscriminately, without respecting their personality. Now, we have talked about what are those tools they use. We go to the extent of mentioning cutlass. We've gone to the extent of mentioning horsewhip, that's koboko. We've gone to the extent of using razor on the child. We've gone to the extent of mentioning that some children are actually beaten like that. So now we want to talk about who are the perpetrators. Now, according to our research, so what we normally do is we ask them, they are not so knowledgeable, but the only thing we ask them is, who among your parents actually beat you the most? That's the question we just ask them. And they will tell, hey, my mommy can kill me. It's my mommy. Oh. This one will say, okay, when we ask them, who beats you the most? And they'll tell you, my daddy can kill somebody. Oh. Like, then we now realize that it's not just daddy and mommy alone. There are some other perpetrators that came into the fray, which are also we call guardians. The guardians, they actually perpetrate this evil as well. Despite the fact that they are very small in number, but they constitute the 20%. They constitute 20% of the perpetrators of these punishments. It seems our network is behaving somehow. Yes, okay, we are back. Okay, thank you very much. We are back. Yes. Now, for us, when we were asking them questions, so we came up with this. We discovered that you'll be surprised that 20% of perpetrators of these child physical abuse, are 20% of them are guardians. Yagba, my auntie, my child is my auntie, is with my this. They form 20% of the total constituency, and the father constituted 30% of those. So it's not just about whether I am the one that gave back to him or not. The issue is becoming about who are those. It's just about who. And the fathers, the children, from the research that we conducted, we realized that fathers are 30%, form the 30% of those who actually perpetrate these acts that we are talking about. Now, then we also have, you'll be so surprised. You will be so surprised that the mother that we can actually consider as those that will love their children the most, that children often love the most, actually constituted 50% of the perpetrators of these physical abuse on children. Now, this is very important. This area is very, very important. When we actually ask the parents and teachers and several other people, when we ask them questions, they often refer us to morality and punishment. That all these things are, do you expect us not to punish our children? Do you expect us not to, if you leave children alone, they will not have morals. And they will quote some certain verses of the Bible for us, that there's madness in the heart of a child. It's only the rod that can actually that can change them, and several other things. They actually mention some of these things. So for us, we realize that parents are often duties are all in the name of punishment, and also they do it to actually uphold good moral in the society. This research has actually shown us in those 3 infographics that we have shared. Let me quickly go through some those infographics one after the other. The first one talks about a point of attack and the names of the attack. Yes, that's the first one. The second one talks about tools of attack and the name of punishment. So the tools of attack, Those are the things that they use, and the name of those attacks. Then the third one actually talks about people that we can actually call the perpetrators of these attacks. So, what are these actually telling us? They are telling us that children, it is established that children are victims of abuse. And the fact that we didn't actually talk about teachers, we want to establish that it is not just about teachers, it is about people that they are actually living with as well. So we have been able to establish that children are victims of abuse. How do we go from here? This research is actually presenting an evidence that children are abused. They abuse, that guardians abuse children. Two, that there are several forms of abuse that goes on that we need to address. And we are calling on stakeholders, the government, the parents, the guardians, the teachers, the community as a whole, to actually take up this project and see how we can actually mitigate against child abuse and some of these forms of violence. And also for the perpetrators, to let them know that punishment of passion should be abolished. Like punishment of passion, such as I love my child. I don't want my child to be a bad boy. I don't want my child to be a bad person. All these should be abolished. And this is Act Up Africa. We at Act Up Africa, we love research so much. We work around research, and we work around good governance. We work on good governance, environmental impact assessment. We analyze budget of the state, so that we can actually know the direction at which the government is going and how we can actually call them to order when they are living the line. So, and of course, we focus on the youth. We love to help the youth in achieving their life objective, and we want to actually make them become, citizens of the world, that people who can actually push the agenda, of good governance. And let me quickly push this to us. And this is a flyer. This is a flyer of one of the events that we'll be having. And recently, we are going to be having this fellowship. And we call it Amplifiers Fellowship. Why do we call it Amplifiers Fellowship? Because we believe that youth, like they call it, are the leaders of tomorrow. But we are not actually leaders of tomorrow anymore. We are the leaders. We are leaders. We are not just, don't you remove the tomorrow. So, and this fellowship is going to help young people who apply, the participants, to discover their purpose, how they can ideate, how they can start something that can run that idea and actually sustain it. We are looking at those who will amplify change in all areas of the sector. Like in activism, we have people who want to amplify change. In governance, amplify change. We in business, amplify. In entrepreneurship, amplify. So the fellowship, the application is out, and if you want to apply, just check on that particular, is on the screen now, and it's actually beside me. You can see it. Maybe for me it's on the left, but for you maybe on the right. Yes, that picture, just go through it. You can visit our Facebook page. Just search for Act Up Africa. Once you search for Act Up Africa, you will see our Facebook page, and there you will see everything that you need to actually get to apply for it. You can visit bit.ly/amplifiers fellowships. Amplifiers fellows. That's the link. bit.ly/amplifiers fellows. So that is the website, the link in which you can actually, to take you to the Google form where you can actually apply. And this is going to run for 4 weekends, because we don't believe that we should take the time of this young one, because they have several different things that they are doing. Um, we want them to do it on the weekends, Friday and Saturdays, and it's going to be hybrid. Once you are selected, you will get the explanation of how things will run. And at this point, we want to appreciate everyone, we mean everyone, for actually giving us the time, for allowing us to crash into your time, and of course, be in your homes at this point through our live Facebook Live. Thank you very much. This is Act Up Africa once again. Our legal name is Act Up for Sustainable Development Foundation, but we are popularly known as Act Up Africa. And my name is John Oluwafemi Ola. I work as team lead and the executive director for Act Up Africa. If there's anything you want to collaborate with us, we want to turn this into IEC, information and education, communication material. We want to, so that we can share it in schools, we can turn it to advocacy documents for government. If you want to partner with us, organizations that are concerned with education, that are concerned with children, that are concerned, like network of people protecting children, we are open to collaborations, so that we can actually turn this into a policy advocacy document, and we can actually get to engage the government. If you have anything to reach out to us, reach us through this platform, which is our Facebook page at Act Up Africa is our Twitter handle, and our Instagram handle is at Act Up for SD, at Act Up for SD, and our website is actupafrica.org, actupafrica.org. Thank you very much, and I will see you in our next broadcast. Thank you very much.